got the old school technology. Yeah, I got my phone. We'll together to get the live stats. Live from the Sports and Recreation Center on the campus of the College of Staten Island, you're watching exclusive women's basketball coverage right here on CSI Sportsnet. This afternoon, the College of Staten Island will take on the undefeated New York University as the College of Staten Island looks to continue their winning ways here at the Sports and Recreation Center. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Babusky along with Mike Cohn. And Mike, we're here on Thanksgiving Day weekend. Dolphins coming off of a big win earlier in the week against St. Joe's Brooklyn and look to continue to build on their winning record.
And they do. Mike, happy Thanksgiving to you, and happy Thanksgiving to our audience listening here on CSI Sportsnet. I'm looking forward to this game. This is going to be a match between two very good teams, a very good CSI team and an undefeated NYU team. And, Mike, I know we're going to get into the stats in a moment, but here's the stat for our fans right now. It's been 32 years since CSI has won a game in women's basketball against NYU. We'll see if today's the day that streak comes to an end.
Yeah, the last time these two teams met was back in the 2014 season, Mike, and NYU was rated 15th in the country at the time, and the Dolphins went back and forth with them in a good game before ultimately succumbing to NYU in the second half of that game, dropping that game by a final score of 82-66, Mike. But let's take a look at the CSI Dolphin team now. They dropped their opener to a Division I Wagner College by just 2 points. Really, in their last two games against both Western New England and St. Joe's Brooklyn, have really played well, Mike, after the first quarter, have been able to pull away in both of those games, and they've really been led so far by the scoring of Samantha Flecker coming in, averaging just under 17 a game.
And she was going to be a centerpiece of this offense at the start of the year. We knew that when we started the home stretch last weekend, and she dropped 12 points the other day against St. Joe's of Brooklyn. She was 4-9 shooting. She's such an important piece to this offense, but in addition to her, she's getting a little bit of help too because Angelique Price has really stepped up her game very nicely. She put up 13 points the other day against St. Joe's of Brooklyn, and then against Western New England just a week ago, she was 7 for 15 from the floor and had 18 points. So Flecker is getting a lot of help from her teammates. Price, Christina Passaturo, who we expected to have a big impact this year, and also, how about the rookie, Ada Bracic, who dropped down 13 points the other day as well.
Yeah, Bracic played so well off the bench in that game, Mike, and, one of the things in that game was that the Dolphins pulled out early and, Willie allowed a lot of the bench players to play in that game. Samantha Flecker only played 20 minutes. Christina Passatoro only played 19 minutes in that game. So opportunity, Victoria Cray didn't even play 10 minutes in that game. A lot of substitutes for the Dolphins throughout the game. And, you already mentioned the game that Nahida Bracic had, 3 of 5 from the three-point line in that game. Really played well, finishing with 13 points. And, Mike, it was a good opportunity for the Dolphins to get a lot of the freshman players in. A lot of freshman players scored their first basket as collegians in that game on Tuesday night. And, really just a good all-around effort for the Dolphins. And, however, today they really will step up in the level of competition.
Yeah, they will. NYU is a very good team. In addition to the 4-0 record, I mean, you just take a look at the roster in and of itself. You have 10 players on the roster that are 5'8" or above. You have 4 players that are over 5'11", and 2 of them are 6 feet. So they have had a real size advantage coming into this matchup against CSI as we get ready for this one. And also, this has been a team that's been consistently good all year round. I mean, they have been averaging about 70 points per quarter. They are hitting pretty well on their shots, hitting 35%. I think their one problem has been the three-point line. They haven't hit very well, only 22%, but they make up for it in steals. They have 68 steals this year, and they make up for it in forcing turnovers. They're a very good defensive team.
Yeah, Mike, and we continue to look at the CSI Dolphin team now, and, the amount of turnover. And, one of the things you mentioned was the amount of size on this NYU team. And it's really just pretty much the opposite for the Dolphins. Only one player over 5'9" tall on the program, and that's Rosa Perone. So the Dolphins have come into this year as an undersized team, but thus far they've done very well rebounding the basketball and actually have out-rebounded their opponents here early in the 2016 season.
And I think a big key to that, and we saw that last week when I was with you when they were playing Western New England, a team that also had a size advantage against them, is the fact that they were very, very aggressive. They were aggressive in the perimeter. They were aggressive on the outside, and they really got Western New England out of their game plan. We'll see if they're able to do that here today against NYU. I think NYU probably a little better team than Western New England, but we will see how they're able to match that size with aggressive play defensively and offensively.
Yeah, and Mike, the Dolphins out-rebounding their opponents by 6 rebounds a game, and one of the other stats that we're always looking at with this basketball team are the amount of turnovers, and thus far through 3 games, they've only turned the ball over 14 times a game, while at the same time forcing their opponents into about 18 turnovers a game. So they're doing very well in that category as well.
They really are. And a couple players from NYU standpoint, as far as forcing turnovers, stand out to me. How about Caitlin Reed, their leading scorer? She's had 21 steals this year. I mean, she's really getting after the basketball. Also, Amy Haroka has had 11 steals. So those 2 players could be huge as far as trying to force turnovers down inside the zone.
And, Mike, let's turn our attention a little bit to this NYU team. And, NYU coming in with 4 players averaging double digits a game, really 5, because you look at Shane McGorry, and she's averaging 9.8 points a game. And, this is typical what you see out of NYU. They love to play a lot of players. We look down the roster quickly. I see 9 players on the roster who are averaging over 10 minutes a game. So, this is a deep team, a fundamentally sound team, and they like to play a lot of players, as you can see looking through their stat sheet.
They do play a lot of players, and each one of them has a strength that stands out. I mean, Kayla Patterson and Lindsay Oldshoe provide the size. They lead the team in rebounds, both of them. Reed and Barrett, of course, their best shooters. Maybe their best shooter is one who doesn't start every game, and that's Lauren Brown. She's hitting 63% on 27 shots this year. So they're a very deep team. They have a lot of players that can go out there and do good things for them on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, and you look at the turnovers, Mike, and they have turned the ball over nearly 20 times a game, but they forced over 30 a game.
Yeah.
So, they're plus 10 in the turnover department. So I'm sure, if you're NYU and you're looking to continue to put the defensive pressure on, but cut down on the turnovers that you're committing yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And, Mike, once again, this Dolphin team now, a changing team, a lot of young players on this team, and it'll be very interesting to see how they do today against this very deep team at NYU.
I'm very interested to see how they handle this NYU squad, and I think what gives CSI an advantage here is that they are very physical. They're not afraid to bump and run, if you will, using a football term, against big physical teams. And I think that they are ready for this kind of challenge. I think that if they hit their shots, if they can get some open looks, one thing that has been an advantage for CSI is they have done very well when they can get those open shots. They have hit them consistently, especially last week. And one problem for NYU has been in making three-point shots. They have not done very well in that, so maybe that is an advantage that could play into CSI's side. You also talked about the turnovers. I think for NYU, they're facing a team in CSI that does force turnovers themselves, so I think we'll see a very close game all the way through.
So the College of Staten Island in the middle of 4 consecutive home games. This will be their 3rd game. They've won their first 2. And also after today's game, they will begin their conference schedule in earnest as they will have 4 conference games coming up in the next couple of weeks, Mike. So, basketball season rolls by quickly, and for the Dolphins, their last non-conference game before getting the conference schedule going on Tuesday.
And this is, of course, a big one. You want to go into that conference schedule 3-1. I know that it's still very early in the season, but I was looking at the standings. You see Hunters 4-1. You see Brooklyn 2-0. Granted, no one's played conference games yet, but you want to go into that conference schedule with a good record. 3-1 would be nice as they welcome in the Bulldogs at John Jay on Tuesday.
So we're about 2 minutes away from the start of the game. Why don't we step aside and we'll take a break here, and then we'll get you back for the starting lineups and the opening tip as you're watching women's basketball coverage right here on your voice of CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Make your emergency plan today.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
Make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
I love you so. I love you. I love you. La 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 la. La 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
A full life measured in seats starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
We're back, and we're just moments away from the start of today's non-conference battle between the College of Staten Island and New York University. And as the College of Staten Island is being introduced on the floor, why don't we bring you today's starting lineups? And here to bring you those starting lineups, my broadcast partner, Michael Cohn. Mike?
And thank you, Mike. And since the home team is out there now getting introduced, I'll start with them. Start things off with Samantha Flecker. She's the forward wearing number 31. Rosa Perone, another second forward wearing number 32. She's in the starting lineup. Christina Pasturo, wearing number 2. Angelique Price, wearing number 10. And Victoria Cray, wearing number 14. Those are your 3 guards for the CSI Dolphins this afternoon. Dolphins wearing their snow white jerseys with the light blue piping down the sides of the jerseys and the light blue numerals and names on the front and back of the jersey. NYU in their black jerseys today with purple and white piping and numerals and names. They'll start it off with Lindsay Oldshoe. She's the forward wearing number 30. Kayla Patterson, number 43. Also in the lineup today, forward Annie Barrett, guard wearing number 1. Amy Haroka, guard wearing number 11. And Caitlin Reed, number 31, another guard, finishes out the lineup for NYU.
Yeah, and we mentioned before, Mike, this is a very sizable club. You look at the starting lineup here for the Violets this afternoon, 2 players listed at 6 feet, and the Dolphins coming in with only 1 player on the roster over 5'9", and one of the keys, Mike, today for the Dolphins will be their ability to rebound the basketball.
And that's going to be their key, and that's why players like Angelique Price and then later on Rosa Perone, also Jacqueline Calley when she checks in, will be huge later on throughout this game.
So Perone will jump for the Dolphins against Patterson, and we're underway here at the Sports and Recreation Center, and NYU will control the opening tip. Oldshoe with the basketball. Oldshoe working it around to the top of the three-point line. She looks inside for Barrett. Barrett trying to get the ball inside. Now NYU working the ball around the perimeter. Again, Mike, you look to see that they're looking to get the ball inside early. Ball played out into the corner now as they work it back to the three-point line, and the long three-pointer is good. So Caitlin Reed hits a three-pointer to get the Violets off to a good start.
That's a good start as well. She has struggled, Caitlin Reed, in hitting three-pointers. Is only hitting at 22%.
Yeah, and, with the size advantage the Violets have, if they're able to hit the outside shots, that will make it tough for the Dolphins as Price looks to hit her first shot from the corner. That's going to be no good, and Patterson's going to grab the rebound, and here comes Barrett for the Violets. Barrett working the ball in the corner now to Haroka. Haroka feeding the ball out to Oldshoe. Oldshoe's long three-pointer is no good, and Craig comes back for the rebound for the Dolphins. Craig getting it into Perot. She drives her way inside, and she's going to get called for the offensive foul. As that time sliding over on the play was Reed.
Yeah, that's a tough offensive foul right there. She's trying to slide in to get the basket, but she still draws the foul, turns it over. Back to NYU.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. That was a tough foul called that time on Perone as she got there just in time, and here comes NYU with the basketball as they work it inside, and that shot's going to be knocked away, grabbed by Perone, and here comes Price for the Dolphins. Price trying to take it from coast to coast, but can't hit the layup. And then the Dolphins are going to commit a loose ball foul in the backcourt. So that time, Mike, good opportunity for the Dolphins, just couldn't convert.
A great opportunity. They got the lucky bounce off the tip of the fingers to our left by Perone and just could not finish it off with Price.
Yeah, the Dolphins have done a good job here through the first 3 games, staying out of foul trouble early in quarters, but pick up 2 quick ones here as the Violets work it into the corner and bury the three-pointer as Haroka hits the second three-pointer for the Violets, and they lead 6-0. Flecker gets the ball out over to Cray.
And one thing I've noticed in the first couple of minutes is that NYU has sped up their pace offensively. Early on, CSI was setting up for that outside shot. They wouldn't give them the inside. That's why they took the 3 a little bit quicker on that last possession for NYU.
And now Pasatoro is going to get called for the offensive foul. So Dolphins already now with their second offensive foul here early in the first 2 minutes, Mike. Already 3 team fouls on the Dolphins, and NYU has hit a couple of their three-pointers, and they lead 6-0. Reed with the basketball. Reed bringing it across the midcourt line now against Flecker as the Violets look to set up offensively. Now it's Haroka with the basketball. Haroka feeding the ball back up over to Patterson. As the Violets work the ball around the three-point line. Now Hiroka thought about the three. Now what looks to spin away inside. She kicks it over to Patterson. Back to Hiroka. Her long two-pointer is up no good. And Cray comes back to grab her second rebound for the Dolphins. But the Dolphins turn it over again. So 3 early turnovers here for the Dolphins. And they're still looking for their first points of the game. Trailing 6-0. Reed with the basketball. Reed now kicking the ball in the corner. The open three-pointer is up, no good. But Patterson able to grab the rebound for the Violets. Back for another open three-pointer, and that's good. And now the Dolphins trail 9-0, Mike. Not the kind of start the Dolphins were looking for.
Not at all. NYU very aggressive. Now another steal, another opportunity to score points. They've been high tempo through the first 4.5 minutes of this game.
Yes, the Dolphins have 4 turnovers here already in the first quarter as Flecker gets it to Price. Price feeds it to Passatoro, who lays it up and in. So the Dolphins get on the board, breaking a 9-0 NYU run to start the game. So it's going to be another foul on the Dolphins. That's going to be against Price as she picks up her second. And, you know, Mike, the Dolphins have already accumulated 4 team fouls here in the first 3 minutes and 20 seconds as Price will have to come to the bench.
And that is huge right there for the Dolphins to lose one of their top veteran players and really one of their top scorers for that matter in Price early in the ballgame.
Yeah, and I thought those were 2 pretty soft fouls early in the game. And Dolphins in foul trouble here early in the first quarter. And now we're going to have a turnover for the Violets as they get called for the travel. And it will be Dolphin basketball.
And remember last week when I was with you, there were a lot of good non-calls last week. But you see here that if it's going to be close, the officials are going to call here tonight. So for the Dolphins, they have to adjust their game plan just a little bit, but down 9-2, it's a little bit tough right now.
Yeah, as Lauren Brown will check into the game. She'll replace Hamey Hiroki, so NYU gets even bigger out on the floor now as Cray feeds it inside to Perrone, and Perrone's going to be fouled before the shot. So there won't be free throws, but it will be the second team foul. As the Dolphins inbound the basketball now and look to set up offensively as it's Cray with the basketball. Cray kicking the ball up over into the corner, and we're going to have a whistle. And boy, Mike, I'll tell you that these are some very soft foul calls being called out on the floor here early in the game.
Already 6 combined fouls between these two teams already.
And now make it 7. And again, just ridiculous, some of these foul calls early in the game.
Yeah, that's the second one on Perrone as well.
So now Perrone and Price already with 2 fouls, 3 minutes and 50 seconds into the game as Dolphins already with 5 team fouls, make it 6. Oh, boy. I'll tell you, Mike, we went through the first 3 games actually with some reasonably good officiating. Here out on the floor, some of these foul calls are just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, they've been very aggressive on blowing the whistle on these fouls. At the same time, if you're the Dolphins, you got to find a way to slow the things down here.
As that first free throw is up and in, and NYU will be shooting free throws here for the rest of the quarter, Mike. 6:03.
Wow.
Remaining in the first quarter. NYU already in the bonus, and I don't think CSI has committed one hard foul yet. So the Dolphins will inbound the basketball now, trailing 11-2 as the ball gets ahead to Flecker as Flecker lays it up and in.
And that's important points right there for the Dolphins. You have to try to get back to some semblance of normalcy.
11-4 the score now as McGoey brings the ball up over the midcourt line. She feeds it out over to Brown, and now we're going to have a whistle and a charge. So now the Violets will get called for the offensive foul and the turnover, and it will be Dolphin basketball.
And the Dolphins right now are 2 fouls from NYU away from being in the bonus themselves.
Yeah, a lot of fouls here early in the game. See if both teams can settle down here as Flecker gets the ball across over to Passatoro. As the Dolphins able to break the Violet press, they kick it out to Callie. Her long three-pointer is up, no good. And the rebound controlled there by the Violets as they look to bring the ball up the court quickly as that's Reed with the basketball. Reed looking to lob the ball inside. The turnaround jumper is up and in. As that time, Michaela Pat able to lay it up and in. It's 13-4. As now Passatoro drives down the lane, and she gets collided into by Pat. And it will be a foul on the Violets.
And now the Violets are starting to look at getting themselves into some foul trouble now.
Yeah, so
we really haven't seen a real hard foul, maybe except for maybe that one we just saw here.
Yeah.
We haven't seen one hard foul at all.
So Michaela Platt will pick up the foul. That will be her first, as the first free throw is up and in. Dolphins have trailed by as many as 9 here, and they now cut it down to 8, 13-5.
Yeah, Passatoro 6 out of 13 coming into today, 2 for 2 today on free throw line. Now with 4 points.
13-6 the scores. The Violets now bring the ball up across the midcourt line as that's Barrett. Barrett gets the ball up over to Brown, and the long three-pointer is up, no good. A fight for the rebound. Violets able to control it, and the putback is up, no good. Third attempt now, as that's no good, and this time Passatoro able to grab the rebound. So the Violets doing a nice job, and now they're able to force the turnover as Reed able to lay it up and in and draw the foul. So the Dolphins got themselves in trouble that time, Mike. They were able to grab the rebound but turn the ball over, and that led to a Caitlin Reed layup and a Passatoro foul. And now the Violets with an opportunity to open this game up to 10 points.
And the Violets using their size advantage, especially with Perrone and a Price on the bench. It puts the Dolphins in a situation where they really are undersized in a big way.
Yep, and now the Dolphins will have the ball knocked out of bounds, so they'll get to inbound the basketball with 4:38 remaining here in the first quarter. And the Dolphins trailing by 10 now, 16-6. Passatoro able to inbound the ball as it's Bracic. Handing it up over to Passatoro. So it's Bracic now on the floor with Passatoro, Flecker, Callie, and Cray for the Dolphins. Bracic out by the three-point line, now working the ball up over to Passatoro. Passatoro trying to drive her way down the lane. That shot's up, no good. Dolphins not balanced defensively as Reed able to drive down the lane and lay it up and in. And going to finally have a timeout here, a 30-second timeout. So let's keep it right here, Mike. But the Dolphins started out slow, fell behind by a score of 9-0, and have really struggled with fouls here in the first quarter.
They struggle with fouls, and also Caitlin Reed continues to dominate. Already 11 points here in the first quarter. We still got 4 minutes and 10 seconds to go in this quarter. And she's dominated on the glass. She has forced turnovers on both ends of the court. She has done an outstanding job for NYU, for CSI. They've got to find a way, Mike, to slow things down just a little bit, try to establish some offense here, and, don't be afraid to use most of that 30-second shot clock you have to, just to slow things down, and you get your offense in transition.
Yeah, and, the Dolphins have been struggling a little bit with the NYU height advantage here in this first half and have not shot well. So Dolphins looking to get back on track and need to get some good offensive looks here as Passatoro brings the ball across the midcourt line, working against Lauren Brown for the Violets. Passatoro now looking to work her way inside, kicks the ball out in the corner now up over to Flecker. Flecker working the ball back up over to Cray. Cray tries to drive down the lane and lays it up and in. Nice move that time by Victoria Cray.
Yeah, really great move there by Cray. Working inside, finds way to the hoop, puts it in for 2.
Dolphins cutting the lead back down to 10 as the Violets try to work the ball inside. It's going to be knocked out of bounds by Passatoro. So it'll remain Violet basketball now with 25 to shoot.
And Dolphins severely need to force a turnover here down on their own end.
The Violets get the ball inside now as it's Pratt with the basketball. Pratt working the ball up over to McGoey. Now out for the open three-pointer, and that's good as Hiroka hits another three-pointer. And, Mike, with the size advantage the Violets have, if they're able to hit that three-point shot, that spells big trouble for the Dolphins.
It does, and it's hard to double up everybody because there's always a chance that someone's going to be open. They were doubling up Pyatt on that series. Eventually left the person wide open there, and she's able to hit the three. Gives the Violets a 21-8 lead.
Now Cray working the ball up to Bracic. Her long three-pointer is up, no good. And this time McGoey controls the rebound, and we're going to have a whistle, and looks like just a turnover on the play. Is a nice defensive job that time by the Dolphins to force the turnover. Violets with their biggest lead of the afternoon now, as the Dolphins will inbound the basketball as Passatoro to inbound. A nice pass inside, but once again, Flecker misses the layup, and Mike, with the Dolphins down by 13, that was a big miss.
Yeah, you can't afford to miss shots. The Dolphins have missed a couple of shots in this first quarter already.
As the Violets able to come away with the basketball, work it in the corner for the open three. It's no good, and Passatoro grabs the rebound now and feeds it to Cray. Cray gets the ball up over to Flecker. Back up over to Callie, and her long three-pointer is good, and the Dolphins needed that one, Mike.
They really did. They needed some shot of adrenaline right there, and they're able to get that in that three-pointer. We'll see if they can do something here on the defensive end. They've really struggled defensively in trying to match up against NYU.
McGoey with the basketball, kicking the ball out up over to Olchu in the corner for the open three-pointer, and Aroka hits another one. Mike, that's her third three-pointer of the quarter. She has 9, and the Dolphins trail by 13.
Her third three-pointer and the second one she's had in her last 2 touches.
Callie with the basketball now. Hands the ball back out over to Passatoro as the Dolphins look to set up offensively. Now it's Callie out behind the three-point line. With 8 seconds on the shot clock, now it's Cray. Cray stops, backs up, a long jumper is up, no good. And a nice job by Olshu to control the glass for the rebound. McGoey drives inside, and we're going to have a whistle and a block on the play.
Still, I thought it was a good play there by Callie, trying to prevent, obviously, the run towards the hoop. Unfortunately, she does draw the defensive foul.
Yeah, so the foul will be on Callie. That will be her first. The Dolphins have been over the limit for quite some time, as McGoey will go to the free throw line here. She came in today's game 7 of 9 from the line for the Violets. As her free throw is up and in. And the Dolphins now trail by 14. That's their biggest deficit of the game with 1 minute, 29 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Bracic looks to feed the ball inside. However, she's going to turn the ball over, and here come the Violets once again, as we're going to have a travel now. So the teams exchange turnovers here with 1 minute, 17 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
And really, CSI all quarters had a hard time trying to keep up with NYU, especially when NYU has possession of the basketball and is driving into their end. And another turnover, looks another stoppage here.
Yeah, I don't think the clock started once again, Mike. So we're going to have to get that situation straightened out, and then the Dolphins will be able to inbound the basketball.
But as I was saying, they've really struggled on the defensive end, and you can't double up everybody. And the Dolphins have tried to double up some of the bigger players on this NYU team, but it's left players like Kuroka wide open to hit these jump shots.
Yeah, and, you always got to play from the inside out. And, with the Violet height advantage, if they're going to hit their three-pointers, that can make things very difficult for the Dolphins. And, they came in shooting only 22% from the three-point line, Mike, but they've done much better this afternoon. It's a beautiful move by Callie to drive it to the basket, lay it in. She scored the last 5 for the Dolphins. 26-13 to score inside a minute remaining here in the first quarter, as the Violets look to work the ball inside and able to get another pair of points in the paint, as Kayla Patterson is able to lay it up and in. Cray with the basketball now. Cray kicking the ball in the corner to Bracic. Bracic's open three-pointer is good.
Nice little run here by the Dolphins. 5-0 run. That's a big 3 right there for Bracic.
Nahada Bracic makes it a 28-16 game as the Violets work it over to Olchu. Olchu kicking the ball in the corner now. Over to Hiroka, back to Olchu as the Violets work the ball out. Shot clock is off now. 10 seconds remaining in the quarter. Barrett with the basketball. Barrett, nice crossover dribble. She kicks it in the corner for the open three-pointer, and that's good. So NYU continues their hot shooting from the three-point line, and that's been the difference here in the first quarter. And hopefully we'll get some stats for you, but that three-point shooting has hurt the Dolphins. We played one quarter, NYU 31, Dolphins 16. We'll step aside, take a break. You're watching women's basketball coverage right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook. And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tight.
Check your steps. The road chip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed all.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
We're back, getting ready for the start of the second quarter. And, you know, Mike, the Dolphins had only allowed opponents 57 points a game coming into today's game here this afternoon. They allowed 31 points in that first quarter against an NYU team that's just shooting the lights out of the basketball.
They really are. They're hitting at 66% on their three-point shots. They're hitting at 52% for the game, 100% from the free throw line. They really have outmatched the Dolphins in every which way, and the Dolphins have had a very hard time trying to keep up. I mean, the Dolphins have shot fairly well in their own right, but it's just not enough here against NYU.
And, you know, Mike, 7 turnovers as well for the Dolphins in that first quarter, and 2 players in foul trouble, Perone and Price, both with 2 fouls. And, you know, they only played a couple of minutes in that first quarter, and, you know, we may not see them at all here in the second.
They may not. How about Amy Hiroka? 4 out of 5 from three-point land, 12 points. Caitlin Reed, 11 points, 4 out of 6 shooting.
Dan, you know, we mentioned the Violets coming in shooting just 22% from the three-point line, shooting 67% here this afternoon, and have really used that and some good inside play to take a 15-point lead as the Dolphins have possession of the basketball. Flecker working the ball in the corner now, getting it up over to Callie. Callie now up over to Brocic. Brocic thought about the three-pointer, now gives it to Flecker with 7. Flecker trying to work her way inside, and we're going to have a whistle and a foul called away from the ball on the Violets, so they will pick up their second foul already, Mike, here in the first minute of the second quarter.
Well, we talked about in the first quarter how the number of fouls that are called in that first quarter, and a lot of them soft fouls, and that tradition continues here into the second.
As it's Cray with the basketball now for the Dolphins, as they will have a fresh 30-second clock, 1 minute into the second quarter. Cray, a nice move taking the ball to the basket, but can't finish the layup. And here come the Violets with the basketball. A nice defensive play that time by Flecker to knock the ball out of bounds as Olchu tried to take the ball to the basket, but it will remain NYU basketball with 15 seconds to shoot.
And on that miss, that's like the third or fourth bucket we've seen the Dolphins nearly have that just tipped in and out.
So the Violets inbound the basketball now as it's Hiroka looking to feed it inside, but now NYU will turn the basketball over and it'll be Passatoro for the Dolphins. Passatoro, a nice crossover move, and she gets to the basket and lays it in.
Dolphins really do need a run, and they need a statement here. I was going to say at the end of the quarter, can they get a statement defensively? Didn't happen. Can they get a statement here? Down 31-18.
Reed with the basketball. Reed feeding it inside to Patterson. She works it in the corner. The open three-pointer is up. No good, and we're going to have a whistle and a jump ball. Possession arrow will remain with the Violets, so it will be their basketball as they will inbound the ball underneath the basket. They lead 31-18. They've jumped out to a 9-0 lead, have never looked back so far here this afternoon. Hiroko gets the ball up over to Olchu. Olchu now over to Reed as the Violets work the ball around the three-point line. Now Patterson out by the three-point line. She drives her way inside, kicks it out for the open three-pointer. That's up no good. And that time the ball's going to be knocked out of bounds, and it'll be Dolphin basketball. But first, a couple of substitutions here for the Violets.
And it looks like Caitlin Reed checks back in, as does Lauren Brown. She checks in for the first time wearing number 15.
Yes, that ball's going to be knocked out of bounds, and it will remain Dolphin basketball as the Violets put a little pressure on the Dolphins as they will inbound now with 26 remaining to shoot. Craig angling the ball up across the midcourt line now, looking to work against Hiroki. Good defense there as Craig looking to work her way inside. She kicks it out to Flecker. Flecker's open three-pointer is up, no good.
Nice job there by the Dolphins. Great steal. Craig got her hand up, tipped it away right back to Callie.
So now the Dolphins get another opportunity as Craig now kicking the ball out to Callie. Callie's long three-pointer is way off, and the rebound is grabbed by the Violets. Violets looking to bring the ball up the floor quickly as Brown gets called for the carry. So on the NYU turnover, it will be Dolphin basketball. So both teams struggling to score here. We played over 2.5 minutes, Mike, here in the second quarter. Just one basket, and that for the Dolphins.
And some nice adjustments by Tim Shanahan's ball club. They've done a nice job here defensively, a little more aggressive. It's now 3 straight possessions that have been resulting in a turnover now by NYU.
So it'll be Cray with the basketball. Gets the ball out over to Passatoro. Passatoro now working the ball out over to Bitar as Flecker tries to work her way inside, and she'll draw the foul. So Lena Bitar has checked into the game for the Dolphins as well for the first time here this afternoon. And, you know, Mike, the Violets present a challenge because they're constantly rotating players in and out. And, you know, that's something head coach Tim Shanahan doesn't usually do. But, you know, with the size and strength of this Violet team, we might see more players than usual.
Well, if you have the talent and you have the ability to go to your bench and have players that can help you out, you're going to go to them. That's what NYU is doing.
Passatoro kicks it back to Flecker. Flecker's long three-pointer is up, no good. But she got hit on the play and will draw the foul and will go to the free throw line to shoot 3.
And these are big free throws right now for the Dolphins. They can get themselves, if they make all 3, back to within 10.
So Flecker coming into today's game shooting 67%. She shot over 71% last year, and she hits the first for the Dolphins. Dolphins trying to creep their way back into the game now. They've trailed by as many as 15. It's down to 12 as Flecker's second free throw is up, no good, and she'll have one more upcoming. As Nicole and Bessie will check into the game for the first time for the Dolphins, and she'll replace Nahada Bracic.
And one big key here so far, Mike, in the second quarter is the Dolphins have not had a foul charged to them so far.
One more free throw coming up for Flecker, so she hits 2 of 3 and draws the Dolphins back to within 11. McGoey with the basketball, looking to work against Cray. McGoey drives it inside, kicks the ball out as it's Linebarger. Linebarger now working the ball back to Brown. Brown's one-hander in the lane is good. That was a nice-looking shot that time by the 5'10" freshman Lauren Brown.
It really was. Nice little touch on the jump shot, able to train it in for a couple of points.
As now we're going to have a whistle and a travel called on the Dolphins as that time Flecker gets called for the travel, so it will be Violet basketball. McGoey with the basketball now as Craig tries to put a little pressure on in the backcourt, but that time Shane able to get the ball across the midcourt line and feed the ball up to Hiroka. Hiroka gets the ball up over the Linebarger. She works the ball inside, but we're going to have a whistle and a travel before the shot. So the teams exchange turnovers, and it will be Dolphin basketball. So Passatoro to inbound the basketball. Now she'll get it up over to Flecker. And now up over to Passatoro as the Dolphins bring the ball up across the midcourt line. Passatoro drives down the lane. Her shot is up, no good, but we're going to have a whistle and a foul on the play.
And she will likely hit free throws here.
Yeah, so Brown will get called for the personal. That's going to be the second personal on Lauren. And now NYU picks up 5 fouls quickly here in the second quarter as Passatore misses the first. And
the Dolphins now in the bonus, but can't miss these free throw shots.
yeah, Dolphins 2 of 4 from the line in the second quarter. Now 3 of 5 to cut the Violet lead down to 12. McGoey getting the ball up over to Linebarger. Linebarger feeding the ball inside, and there to catch it and lay it up and in is Patterson. And NYU starting to pound the ball inside a little bit, Mike.
Starting to pound the ball a little bit inside, using their bigs as well and their size. And if you're CSI, there's really not much you can do other than draw a foul inside when you're in that kind of size disadvantage.
Ball worked out to Bitar. Her corner from the jumper is no good. And here comes McGoey. She stops a jumper from the free throw line. Extended is good, and the Violets open the lead back up to 15. Gray has the ball knocked out of bounds, but it will remain Dolphin basketball. Dolphins able to get it down, Mike, as low as 11, but no closer so far here in the second quarter. So Passatore to inbound the basketball now for the Dolphins. As she gets it to Cray at the three-point line. And the Dolphins with 20 seconds to shoot here on this possession. Gray tries to cross over and drive inside. A foul's going to be called on the outside. Boy, Mike.
There's some, like we said all day, there have been some really soft fouls in this game.
Boy, I don't know how you could play defense if you can't do that.
And Linebarger has already had 2 fouls. She's only been in the game for what, a minute and a half, 2 minutes?
So Cray will go to the free throw line, and her first is up and no good. And the Dolphins not doing themselves any favors here from the free throw line in the second quarter. One more free throw upcoming for Cray. Victoria just 2 of 6 from the free throw line coming into today's game. As she hits the second, and the Dolphins keep trying to work their way back into the game as Barrett angles the ball across the midcourt line for the Violets. Barrett kicking the ball out to Hiroka. Hiroka now gets it to Olchu. Olchu working the ball in the corner, and the long three-pointer is good once again. So that time it's McGoey hitting the three-pointer, and NYU opens up their biggest lead of the game.
And they have now 4 players in double digits, Mike, and they're hitting their shots now on a consistent basis after being very cold here to start this second quarter.
As that time, Cray shot the ball off the side of the backboard. I guess maybe it hit the padding on the side of the basket, Mike. That's why I guess the officials ruled it out of bounds. So it will be Violet basketball as Barrett once again brings the ball across the midcourt line, and NYU threatening to blow this one wide open, Mike. As they get the ball inside, that layup is up no good, and Cray able to grab the rebound now for the Dolphins.
And they aren't missing their shots either. I think that's the biggest key here. They haven't had many second chance points, mainly because they haven't had a need for it. They've been able to hit their shots on the first take.
Yeah, they're really using very strong three-point shooting this afternoon, are the Violets, and that's really propelled them into the lead. So the Dolphins inbound the basketball now as Cray has the ball. They work it in the corner. The long jumper that time by Mbesi is no good, and Dolphins control the rebound, nearly throw it away, but a nice play by Flecker to maintain the basketball and get the ball out over to Cray. Dolphins now with the opportunity to set up once again as they get the ball up over to Bitar. Bitar tries to bounce it inside, but nobody there for the Dolphins.
I don't know what you saw there. There was just a couple of black jerseys. That was it.
Yeah, now Olchu lays the ball up and in, and the Dolphins are going to take a timeout, and they're going to need it. It's a full timeout. So while we step aside to take a break, 3:46 remaining in the first half. All Violets. They lead by a score of 42-22 as you're watching women's basketball right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised.
Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably put the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
We're back, and we have 3 minutes and 46 seconds left in this first half. And Mike, the Violets have used 7 of 12 shooting from the three-point line and 53% shooting overall to break open this game and take a 20-point lead.
And like I discussed earlier, they have not had a need for the second chance points. They've been hitting their shots in the first take consistently throughout this game. They've been a matchup nightmare for the Dolphins inside, and they've been very aggressive defensively as well.
Yeah, NYU hitting 3 of their first 4 attempts from the three-point line, never looking back. And Dolphins are going to need more of that as Victoria Cray hits the three-pointer, and that cuts the NYU lead down to 17. And, you know, if you joined us late, both Angelique Price and Rosa Perone picked up 2 personal fouls within the first 3 or 4 minutes, Mike, and we haven't seen either player since. Passatoro over to Flecker, and Flecker will get called for the travel.
Yeah, she did walk. She first thought about going up on top for the shot, but then she thought better of it, tried to go towards a pass, but just walked. Leads to the travel.
So it'll be the Violets to inbound the basketball as Barrett has the basketball now and brings the ball across the midcourt line. Barrett working the ball in the corner to Hiroka. Hiroka kicking the ball in the corner. The open three-pointer and the red-hot NYU shooting continues, Mike.
It does, and they continue to hit their outside shots. It's been working for them all day. They've been loving hitting those shots in the corner.
So Passatore with the basketball now for the Dolphins, and she'll work it in the corner to Flecker. You know, Mike, the Dolphins were looking for a much better first half here today, and you know, they started out with a couple of tough foul calls and hot outside shooting by NYU, and you know, the Dolphins really haven't been able to recover yet.
Well, you talked about the 2 personal fouls on Perone and Price that led to their being on the bench right now in this second quarter, and not having those 2 players has had an impact because not only do they provide some offense, Price has been hitting her shots very well through the first 3 games of the year, but it takes away a lot of size and presence inside that NYU has taken advantage of in this first half. Dolphins have had to try to double up players inside, and it's left open a lot of these outside shooters to knock down these shots.
So the first free throw by Callie is up no good, and you know, Mike, the Dolphins not helping themselves from the free throw line here this afternoon.
And they've missed a number of free throws. At least 5 now in the second quarter.
And Mike, we should mention the men's team that trailed against New Jersey City University 21-5 have cut it down to 27-20. So the men's team coming right back, doing a nice job as the women continue to struggle here, down 21 as that layup is up no good, and NYU able to grab the rebound. McGoey with the basketball. McGoey feeding it up over to Olchu. Olchu working the ball in the corner back to McGoey. McGoey now up over to Pratt. Her jumper is up no good, and this time Flecker able to go up and grab the rebound and feed it out to Passatoro. Passatoro with the basketball now for the Dolphins. She'll back the ball out and work the ball up over to Flecker. Flecker just with 4 first-half points here for the Dolphins, as Passatore will look to set up offensively with 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Passatore looking to work against Olchu. Picks up a dribble. Now gets it up over to Callie. Callie works it in the corner. The long three-pointer at the buzzer by Flecker is good.
That's a great play there for the Dolphins. They've been in need for a statement play like that, and there's a big one right there from Flecker, nailing down the 3 at the buzzer.
47-29 the score inside 1 minute remaining here in the first half. Barrett with the basketball. She feeds it inside. It's going to be knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Dolphins. So the Violets will have 17 to shoot. 54 seconds remaining here in the first half. Ball gets inbounded now as the Violets look to feed it. The short jumper is up, no good, but once again, the Dolphins can't grab the rebound, and the Violets in possession. Ball worked inside, and that shot is going to be up and no good as Callie falls backwards, but the Violets lead by 20 once again. Passatoro looking to work against Oldshoe, feeds it out over to Callie. Now it's Mbesi with the basketball. Mbesi out over to Passatoro. Passatoro looking to drive her way inside. She kicks it to Callie, who's open. Three-pointer is good.
This is a nice way to end the first half, Mike, on a couple of big threes by the Dolphins.
So Callie leads the Dolphins with 9 points, and there are 8 seconds remaining here in the quarter as Barrett has the basketball. She feeds it inside. The layup is up, no good. Passatoro grabs the rebound. Her long shot from half court is no good. So we have 20 minutes in the books, Mike. Dolphins trail by 17.
They trail by 17. I like the way they finished there, hitting a couple of three-pointers. Finally made a play defensively, but again, the size problem has been apparent throughout this first half. They're having a tough time inside against NYU. It's led to a lot of open shots here for the Violets as they have a 49-32 lead. A lot of adjustments that need to be made for Tim Shanahan in the locker room, and I'm sure we'll see if they can get their bigs back into the game in the second half.
So we're at halftime. The Dolphins trail by a score of 49-32. We'll step aside. We'll take a break for a few minutes, and then we'll be back to bring you the stats and the second half as you're watching women's basketball coverage right here on your voice of CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably put the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Mom.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course.
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage,
you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent. We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness. I am a witness. I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
You make me wear my bike helmet. You taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
La 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 la, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Oh! Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-one physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life. One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The #1 goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-one physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play.
We're back here at halftime where the College of Staten Island trails this one by a score of 49-32. And, you know, Mike, it wasn't a pretty first half for the Dolphins. They fell behind by 9 immediately. NYU hit 3 of their first attempts at three-pointers, and they've never looked back here this afternoon.
Yeah, that's been all NYU so far, especially in that first half. They were shooting the lights out of this building. They shot 61% from long distance. They shot 52% overall in the first half, 100% from the free-throw line. Really, there wasn't anything that they couldn't do wrong in that first half. Dolphins had a really hard time matching up. You mentioned, especially towards the tail end of that first half, the personal fouls on Rosa Perone and Angelique Price that got both of those two players out of the game in that first half, and that really changed a lot of the dynamic for the Dolphins because they didn't have that physical presence that they're used to having in ball games. They didn't have that at all in that for really the duration of that first half. And the Dolphins really struggled shooting. They missed shots. They missed free throws. They were 7-11 from the charity stripe. They were 5 of 13 from downtown. They had their issues shooting the basketball in that first half.
Yeah, and, you know, you look at the stats, and really NYU controls all of them. They've outscored the Dolphins in the paint 20-10. They've outscored them on points off of turnovers 13-7, on second chance points 5-1, on fast break points 6-4. And, you know, Mike shooting over 53% from the three-point line, over 50% from the rebound. From the two-point line, and out-rebounding the Dolphins 18-13. So, you know, NYU really doing a nice job here on this Thanksgiving Day weekend, coming out, playing hard, playing well right from the opening tip, and it's translated into a 17-point lead.
They have. And the players that stood out for NYU, Amy Haroka, she's hit 4 of 7, 4 of them for three-pointers, in fact, 12 points. Caitlin Reed, who's been in and out. There was a point where she checked in a couple times. She got herself in some foul trouble. Overall, she was 4 out of 6, 1 for 1 from the free throw line, 11 points. And Shea Magui, a 12 points. She didn't play that long to Magui. Only played like 5 minutes in that first half. She had 12 points, was 3 for 3, was perfect from both the free throw line and from the field. For the Dolphins, the player that stands out right now, Jacqueline Calley. She leads the team with 9 points, but Samantha Flecker, Christina Passatoro both struggled. Flecker only 7 points, and Passatoro 7 points, but neither one has shot that well.
And just to give you an update on the men's game, the men fell behind New Jersey City University by a score of 21-5 in that one, but they've come back at halftime to trail just by 6, 35-29. Khalid Baum leading the Dolphins with 6 points, 5 points apiece for Rossiter and Chatino. So a nice job, Mike, against a very strong New Jersey City University team. Dolphins fell behind by 16, but go into halftime trailing by just 6.
And that is huge for the Dolphins. We'll see if they can come back and make the full comeback and take the lead at some point in that second half and maybe pull it out over there in Jersey City.
Yeah, and Mike, we mentioned before the Dolphins really struggling in this one right out of the gate. NYU hitting 3 of their first 3 3-point attempts to open up a 9-0 lead. What do the Dolphins need to do here in the second half to try to work their way back into the game?
Well, one thing is, avoid foul trouble. They got themselves into a lot of early foul trouble. I know there's some ticky-tack fouls there early on, but still you got to avoid foul trouble there for the Dolphins. Also, they have to force more turnovers. They only forced 8 turnovers on NYU in the first half and only had 1 steal, did the Dolphins, in that first half. So they have to be a little extra aggressive defensively. Maybe with some of their size now checking back into the game, they can start to force those turnovers on the defensive side.
I'm sorry, Mike. And Angelique Price and Rosa Perone back on the floor. Both plays back on the floor for the Dolphins. Angelique averaging over 15 points a game for the Dolphins. Still looking for her first points here this afternoon. So NYU comes out in a press, but the Dolphins are able to inbound the basketballs. It's Passatoro getting the ball up over to Price, and Price tries to work the ball inside, but we're going to have a whistle 11 seconds in, and we will have a blocking foul called on the Violets, so the Dolphins will inbound the basketball with a fresh 30-second shot clock. Passatoro looking for somewhere to go with the basketball. Good defensive pressure by the Violets. And now Passatoro gets the ball back as the Dolphins look to set up offensively. Passatoro tried to fight her way inside, throws up a wild shot, and the Violets control the rebound. So not a good offensive sequence that time, Mike, for the Dolphins.
No, it was very important for them to get some points to start things off in the second half, and they were unable to do so.
So it's Reed with the basketball now for the Violets. Reed tried to get the ball inside, but Flecker able to knock the ball away, and Passatoro able to come away with it for the Dolphins.
That's exactly what the Dolphins need right there, Mike. They need to be extra aggressive defensively, force some turnovers, and then get some points on the other end.
Yeah, Cray worked it inside to Flecker. Her shot is partially deflected, and Patterson able to control the rebound for the Violets as she gets the ball up over to Reed. Reed works the ball in the corner, but we're going to have a whistle and a foul called along the baseline on the Dolphins, and that will be on Passatoro. So Christina will pick up her second foul of the game, and the Violets will inbound the basketball. Hiroka working the ball back, and the long three-pointer is up no good, but the Violets going up strong, controlling the glass, feeding it to Patterson, who lays it up and in. Mike, the Violets just had 6 offensive rebounds closing out that first half, but it seemed like 4 of them were at the end of that first half, and they just got another one for a basket as the Dolphins miss, and here come the Violets once again.
That's now 3 straight possessions with which the Dolphins have not scored or have missed a shot here in this opening third quarter.
And now Barrett able to feed the ball inside, and Patterson able to lay it up and in, and Dolphins now have their biggest deficit of the game. It's 21 points, Mike, is NYU really starting to control the play inside the paint.
And they really are. And we knew they were going to start to pound inside. They were starting to pound inside even at the end of the first half, and now they're putting an exclamation point here, although they do miss the shot.
Yeah, so the Dolphins turn it over again, and the Violets miss a shot, and now another turnover, and NYU with the basketball once again. They fake the three-pointer, now work it in the corner for the three-pointer. That's no good. The rebound is grabbed by Reed as the ball is fight inside, and we're going to have a whistle and a jump ball. And the possession arrow at the scorer's table shows Dolphins, but it will be the Violets with the basketball. So NYU missing a couple of shots, Mike, but Dolphins not able to grab the rebound. Now Patterson inside. She fights away inside, but we're going to have a whistle and a travel before the shot.
That was a close one, although she did not touch the court with the basketball. She did not dribble at all, so that's why the foul was called.
So it'll be Passatoro to inbound the ball to Price. Now back to Passatoro. Dolphins coming out here in the second half, still looking for their first points about 2.5 minutes in as they turn the basketball over once again. Barrett able to get the ball across the midcourt line as they work the ball out over in the corner now to Reed, and we're going to have a whistle and a foul called on the Dolphins. Will have not come out playing crisp basketball here, Mike, to start the second half.
No, they haven't. They've had now 2 fouls called against them. And they've also have yet to score a point in the second half. As
the ball goes up over to Reed, Reed feeds it inside to Patterson. Patterson's pass back is going to be stolen away by Flecker. And here come the Dolphins, 3-on-2. Flecker stops, pops from the free throw line extended. That's going to be way off, and we're going to have a whistle and a foul called in the backcourt on the Dolphins. And that's going to be...
Wow, the 4th on Perrone.
Yeah, that's going to be a foul on Rosa Perrone.
I mean,
as it'll be Jackie Callie to check into the game, and Rosa Perrone will go to the bench. And
we may not see her again for the rest of the game, if not until late in the game.
Yeah, so another foul on Rosa. So the Violets will inbound the basketball. They've only scored 4 points here in the third quarter, but the Dolphins haven't scored any, and they lead by 21. And we're going to have a travel call on NYU as the game starting to get a little sloppy here, Mike, in the third quarter.
Yeah, Lynn Barger traveling for the 2nd straight time. And really for the Dolphins, losing Perrone, this is the 2nd time early in a quarter in which she has put herself in a position where she's had to check out of the ball game.
As Price feeds it inside to Callie, who lays it up and in. So nice looking play that time as Price picks up the assist. Callie, the first Dolphin to double digits. She has 11, but unfortunately, Mike, they don't get back defensively, and Patterson able to just lay it up and in. Cray with the basketball. Cray working it over to Callie at behind the three-point line. Now it's Passatoro with the basketball. She'll back the ball out and look to set up offensively now for the Dolphins. Passatoro looking to work against Barrett. Passatoro driving her way inside. Her layup is up no good, but we're going to have a whistle and a block called on the Violets. And that's going to be on Amy Hiroka, I do believe.
It's on Annie Barrett. Soroka.
So it'll be Passatoro to go to the free throw line for the Dolphins. Christina 3 of 4 from the line here this afternoon. As she hits the first, she now has 8. And the Dolphins trail 55-35. And, Mike, the Dolphins have to try to find a way to slowly work themselves back into this game.
And they really have to. And these are important shots. Good job by Passatoro. She sinks both free throws, 2 for 2 to start the second half. But the Dolphins have had a lot of open shots here to try to get back into the second half in this third quarter, and they have missed those shots.
So it's going to be McGoey with the basketball now for the Violets. McGoey tries to use the Brown pick. She drives around and feeds the ball out over to Reed. Reed looking to work her way inside. She takes the ball right to the basket and lays it up and in. So Caitlin Reed now has 13 points for the Violets. She's their leading scorer. And NYU opens the lead back beyond 20 once again as Passatoro will be fouled out on the floor before the shot.
And down 21 points. It's going to be very hard for the Dolphins to try to get themselves back into this game, but they really need some stops defensively. They, most of all, need to find a way to get some consistency going offensively. They have not been able to establish that at all. NYU has been all over them.
Yeah, and now Flecker gets called for the travel, so the Dolphins will turn the ball over once again, and it will be Violet basketball. Bowie with the basketball, bringing the ball across the midcourt line. Now works the ball out over to Reed. Reed, cross-court pass up over to Brown. Now it's Bogoe. McGoey tried to work the ball in the corner. Dolphins deflect. But Hiroka able to make the play. And now it's Callie with the steal for the Dolphins. Callie working the ball inside to Cray. Cray hammered on the play. She'll draw the foul and go to the free throw line.
That was easily one of the best plays we've seen today by the Dolphins. Great job by Callie stepping in front of the pass, picks it off. Nice transition offense by the Dolphins as they had numbers and they able to get the foul call and get Cray to the line to shoot two.
So Victoria will go to the line. She's 1 of 2 from the free throw line here this afternoon. As her first is up and in, and she'll have one more. 57-37. 5 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. As her second free throw is up and in. So the Dolphins cut it back down inside of 20, 57-38. Reed with the basketball, working on Price, kicking the ball up over to McGoey. Now it's Reed. Reed trying to feed the ball inside, and that time the Violets missed the layup, and the Dolphins control the rebound as it's Passatoro. Passatoro now up over to Flecker. Flecker's long three is up, no good. And the Violets control the rebound, but a beautiful play by Price to steal the ball away and get her first points of the game.
Dolphins have needed that kind of play all day. They haven't had that kind of steal in order to lead to points at all here today, and that's a big bucket there for the Dolphins. They're down 17. Another turnover now by Callie going the other way.
Nice play by Callie to step in front of the ball and steal it as she takes the ball to the basket, and she's hammered on the play, and she'll draw the foul.
Yeah, she got fouled pretty hard going down to the floor. She just now gets up, and she says that she is okay.
Yeah, so she's a little shaken up on the play. As the Violets will pick up the foul. And Callie will go to the free throw line here to shoot two. NYU over the limit. As we're going to have a substitution here for the Violets. As Lauren Brown will check out of the game. Now for NYU. And Jackie Callie will go to the free throw line here momentarily. But first we'll have another substitution for the Dolphins as Nahada Bracic will check into the game for the Dolphins as well.
And it looks like Old Shoe might check out. A little confusion right now.
And Callie actually is going to come off the floor here. Mike, she's a little shaken up on the play, and it'll actually be Bracic to go to the free throw line for Callie. As her first free throw is up and no good, and she'll have one more upcoming.
And Bracic hitting at 43% coming in, 3 out of 7, now 3 out of 8 at the line.
So one more free throw upcoming here for Bracic. As her second free throw is up, no good. 2 big misses there by Bracic. And the rebound controlled now by Reed. Reed gets the ball up over to McGoey. McGoey back out over to Reed. Now McGoey working the ball up over to Hiroka. Hiroka on the outside gets the ball back. And now it's McGoey in the corner. The long three-pointer is good. So just when the Dolphins tried to start itching their way back, a big three-pointer now by Reed. She has 16 for the Violets.
And that's really been the story of the day here for NYU and for the Violets. It's been their ability to hit those outside shots, and that's just another one in a big spot in order to extend this lead back to 20.
Yeah, so the Dolphins will draw the foul once again, and Victoria Cray will go to the free throw line. But when NYU's needed a basket here, they've been able to do a couple of things as Callie will come in, I believe, after the first Victoria Cray free throw here. As Cray hits the first, she'll have one more upcoming.
And what's frustrating for CSI is that this was an opportunity for them to get back in the game. They had a chance there with 3 throws to make it a 15-point game. Yes, it's still a big deficit, but 15 points, you still have a reasonable chance to try to get back into the ball game. But now, down 19 would be much tougher.
Yeah, so Cray hits 1 of 2. And Hiroka has the basketball now for the Violets as it's Olchu, and the
wow.
2-pointer that time by McGoey is good.
I think they called it a 3, Mike.
Oh, boy. So the Dolphins, who had cut it down to 16 just a moment ago, now trail by 22 once again. Is that shot by Flecker is up no good, but a beautiful hustle job to get the rebound and feed it back to Passatoro, but her three-pointer goes in and out. And here come the Violets with the basketball. Reed.
They changed it back to a 2.
As the short shot is up no good, and Passatoro able to grab the rebound now for the Dolphins. Beautiful feed inside to Price, and Price's layup is good. 62-43 now, inside of 3 minutes, 15 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Violets work the ball around as we're going to have a whistle, and Price is going to pick up her third foul out at the three-point line. And the Violets will inbound the basketball, but first NYU with another 3 substitutions on the play, Mike.
And they just continue to rotate players in and out. They've been doing that all day, has head coach Lauren Hale Gregory. So, like we talked about earlier, she has a lot of depth on that bench, and she's been going to it.
So it'll be the Violets to inbound the basketball now inside of 3 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. And NYU up by 19. Olchu working it over to Barrett. Barrett back to Olchu. Olchu lobs it inside. She was looking for Patterson, but it'll be off our hands and out of bounds, and the Dolphins will regain possession off the turnover. Passatoro looking to inbound the basketball. Now she lobs it up over to Callie, who gets the ball up over to Cray, who's able to get the ball across the midcourt line now for the Dolphins. Cray crossover dribble, kicks it out in the corner now to Flecker. Flecker now working the ball out over to Callie now with 15 seconds to shoot for the Dolphins. Passatoro backing the ball out as NYU playing nice defense here on the play as they lob it inside to Callie, but we're going to have a whistle and a foul out on the floor. I believe that's going to be on Hiroka. That would be her second if it is. And it'll be Callie to go to the free throw line to shoot 2. Callie with 11 points here for the Dolphins. And her first free throw is in. And the NYU lead now is down to 18 points. You know, Mike, the Dolphins had only allowed opponents 57 points a game coming into the game here this afternoon. NYU already with 62 this afternoon.
And that's going to change that average dramatically here. And they're not done yet.
Barrett with the basketball. Barrett working the ball in the corner now to Hiroka. Hiroka long cross-court pass up over to Linebarger. Linebarger at the three-point line as NYU able to work the ball cross-court and driving to the basket that time and laying the ball in is Hiroka. And she started out strong for NYU, Mike, and another big basket. She's got 14.
Yeah, that was a nice job. Nice job by Hiroka. That's Callie working the other way, but she did a nice job there setting up the outside shot, then worked her way back inside to get the bucket.
As Price puts up the three-pointer, that's no good, but the Dolphins able to grab the rebound, feed it back to Passatoro. Her long three-pointer is up no good as she's still looking for her first three-pointer of the afternoon, and the Violets control the rebound. Linebarger's going to get called for the travel.
Not too many opportunities for the Dolphins today in order to get those offensive rebounds. Came into this half, Michael, with only 3. I believe that was only their second in the second half.
Yeah, so it'll be the Dolphins to inbound the basketball now from the side court. 90 seconds remaining here in the third quarter, and the Dolphins trailing by an even 20 points. So Passatoro with the basketball now for the Dolphins as she brings the ball up across the midcourt line. And now backs the ball out as there are 20 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Passatoro lobbing it out over to Price. Price's long jumper from the corner is good.
Dolphins need all the points they can get, and that's a nice 3 right there for the CSI.
And a nice job by Price to get the turnover and the foul. And now Angelique will have an opportunity to go to the free throw line for the Dolphins. She was held scoreless in the first half. She's got 6 already here in the third quarter, and she'll have 2 free throws upcoming.
The Dolphins really missed having her in that first half. What this game would look like right now if she had not had those 2 personal fouls in the first half is certainly unknown, but it would have been a difference.
As Price misses the first three-pointer free throw, and she'll have 1 more upcoming.
And just an update for you in the men's game. They're almost 6 minutes into the second half, 50-38 in favor of NJCU.
Yeah, so the Dolphins men's team was able to close to within 6, but NJCU has opened it back up to 12 as Jackie Callie gets run over on the play, and we're going to have a whistle and a foul called on the Dolphins as both teams now over the limit with just under a minute remaining here in the third quarter.
Dolphin calls on 24, Jackie Callie. Her second team's on the limit. 180 Barrett, shooting 2.
So Callie draws the foul as the first free throw is up and no good, and the Dolphins still trail by 18 as the Dolphins look to fight their way back with just under a minute remaining here in the third quarter. Second free throw is up and in, and it's now a 65-46 game as NYU shows a little bit of a backcourt press here and now backs up as Passatore brings it across the midcourt line. Nice feed to Flecker, back up over to Price. Price's log 2 is up, no good, and the Violets control the rebound. Reed with the basketball. Reed, who leads the Violets with 16 points, gives it up over to Patterson. Now back to Reed. She works it up over to Barrett. Barrett's long three-pointer is up, no good. Knocked out of bounds, last touch by the Dolphins, so NYU will get the basketball back with the shot clock off.
And you know, Mike, with a whole quarter still to play, it is looking rather dire right now for the Dolphins to try to come back and win this game. You never want to say never, obviously, with a 19-point deficit, but it is going to be tough. I think for them going forward into this fourth quarter, it's about playing your best quarter. They really haven't had that opportunity so far today. If they can play a solid quarter here, come out of here feeling good about themselves, that's what you want right now.
So let's see what the Dolphins could do here with their last possession and 15 seconds remaining on the game clock. Flecker with the basketball as Passatore gets called for the foul. Boy, that's a tough call there, Mike. Passatore was cutting to the basket and the NYU defender was backing up. She wasn't stationary, and they kind of collided, but Passatore gets called for the foul. That'll be her third. And now NYU with an opportunity to inbound the basketball, but first we're going to have a whistle and a timeout called by the Dolphins. It's a 30-second timeout as head coach Tim Shanahan wants to have a word with the official, and the Dolphins still trail by 19, Mike.
Well, again, there have been a lot of soft fouls throughout the course of this game, but still, it's been all NYU so far today. They've had 4 players in double figures today. They have done a great job in attacking the net and attacking the glass. And the Dolphins just, in this quarter, it's been kind of strange because there have been opportunities for the Dolphins, Mike, to get themselves back into this game, back into the conversation of this game, but either they're not hitting their shots, or B, the Violets continue to hit shots from the outside and continue to expand upon this lead.
Yeah, and Mike, coming into the game, one of the keys for the Dolphins was, going to be able to control the glass at least a little bit defensively, and hopefully hold NYU to around their seasonal shooting averages.
Mm-hmm.
But NYU with other ideas here today as they've come out red hot, especially from the three-point line.
They really have.
So it'll be the Violets with the basketball now with 4 seconds remaining in the quarter. The stop, the long open jumper is no good, and that's going to do it. 3 quarters in the books. Dolphins trailing by a score of 65-46. So Dolphins went into halftime trailing by 17, and they now trail by 19 at the end of 3 quarters. So why don't we step aside, take a break. 1 quarter to go as you're watching women's basketball coverage right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
You make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt. And to follow the swimming rules. You're always looking out for me and trying to keep me safe.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
Here in the garage.
Closet, shoebox, under the bed. Where anyone can get to it. How safe is that?
How safe is that?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. If you own a firearm and are not using it, please be responsible and be sure that it's stored in a safe place. Remember, always lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org.
We're back getting ready for the fourth quarter, and, you know, Mike, you look at the stats, and, you know, through the second and third quarter, the Dolphins were just outscored by 4 points, had some opportunities in that third quarter, but just couldn't convert.
Could not convert. They shot only 26% of the Dolphins from the floor, 0 for 6 from downtown. They really had some issues, again, in trying to shoot the basketball as Flecker goes inside, and as the ball go out of her hands, it'll be a turnover the other way back to NYU. Meanwhile, NYU, maybe they didn't shoot as well as they did in the first half, but still they did enough. They shot 46% from the floor and continue to hold this now 19-point lead over CSI.
Yeah, and, you know, NYU starting to pound the boards a little bit, Mike. They out-rebounded the Dolphins 12-7 in that third quarter. They've now out-rebounded them on the offensive end 10-6, and fortunately for the Dolphins, their shooting has cooled off a little bit, as the Dolphins still with just over 9 minutes remaining, but need to start going on a little bit of a run, Mike.
They do, and if you look at by quarter, you see that the real difference in this game has been that first quarter. It still stands out. If you just take a look at the second and third quarters, it's a really tight game. It's only a 4-point game and a 4-point lead in advantage of NYU. That first quarter was really where the Violets really put a big gap between themselves and the Dolphins here tonight.
Yeah, and NYU has never trailed in this game. They've led the whole way after about 20, 25 seconds or so, Mike, and they've never looked back. And, you know, one of the things that the Dolphins have never been able to do here this afternoon, Mike, is go on any kind of extended run offensively.
No, they have been unable to do that. And I said to you at the end of the third quarter, I said, you know, can they have a stronger quarter? Can they have the best quarter here today? It may not result in a win, but can they have some nice sustaining possessions, get some points, have a winning quarter, and leave this building today, Sports Recreation Center, feeling good about themselves?
Yeah, both the men's and women's team will be back in action this Tuesday night. Conference home opener against John Jay. The women will be up first at 5:30. Followed by the men, as the CUNYAC conference schedule will get underway this Tuesday afternoon. And, you know, we mentioned, Mike, Dolphins with 4 consecutive non-conference games to start the season, and then the ladies will have 4 conference games in a row. So now it's the Violets with the basketballs. It's McGoey. McGoey working the ball up over to Reed. Reed cross-court pass. Now they feed the ball inside. Now it comes back up over to McGoey. They work the ball inside nicely. The shot's going to be knocked away by Flecker. Fight for the basketball. It'll be a jump ball. Possession arrow will remain with the Violets, but just 2 seconds on the shot clock.
A little bit of pressure situation. Pretty much a catch and shoot scenario here for the Violets. Yeah, looks like Brown is going to check in here.
So Lauren Brown will check in. She'll replace Lindsay Oldshoe for the Violets as they lob it into Brown. She's able to get it to the basket. She misses the short jumper, but there to grab the offensive rebound is Pyatt to lay it up and in.
Talked about the size advantage, Mike, there, and that was just an example there. You go from the 5'10" Brown to the 5'11" Pyatt. It really makes a difference there inside.
Yeah, and just nobody inside for the Dolphins really to put up much resistance there on the play as the Dolphins lob the ball into Price. Price looking to get the ball inside. She has the ball stripped away. Both teams fighting for possession, and we have a whistle. And boy, I think we're going to have a foul called on Angelique Price. Boy, Mike, that's a tough call on Angelique, and that's going to be her 4th personal here this afternoon. And, you know, that was just one of the things, Mike. The game started out slowly for the Dolphins, and they really just were never able to find their way back into it.
And those fouls early on, the 3-pointers early on, we've talked about it all day today, really set the trend here for NYU and for CSI.
So it's Reed with the basketball. Reed trying to force her way inside against Flecker. Flecker does a nice defensive job. And here comes Flecker with the rebound. Flecker running coast to coast. Her layup is up, no good, but the Violets not able to keep the ball in bounds. So the Dolphins will get the ball back, Mike, with 22 seconds remaining on the shot clock.
Yeah, plenty of time here to try to set up their offense here.
Yeah, and I thought that might have hit the rim, and the official signaling the reset, so there'll be a fresh 30-second shot clock now for the Dolphins. Passatoro feeding it out to Price. Price's baseline jumper is good.
A nice shot there by Price. She now has 8 points here, Mike, in the second half.
Dolphins down by 19, 7:31 remaining. Probably their last opportunity to make a run to get themselves back in the game. The ball fed inside that time, and going up was Pat to lay the ball up and in, but it's going to be out of bounds, and it will remain Violet basketball. 19 seconds to shoot now. As they lob the ball back out to McGoey. McGoey's long three-pointer is up, no good, and Craig controls the rebound, and she'll be fouled in the backcourt.
And that's now the third foul already here on Hiroka in this game.
So she'll pick up her third foul, and that'll be the first on the Violets as the Dolphins inbound the basketball and get the ball up over to Passatoro. Passatoro out by the three-point line. Now looks to set up offensively with 15 seconds remaining on the shot clock. And if you're the Violets here, Mike, you don't mind making the Dolphins take 20 seconds off the shot clock with this big lead.
No, you don't. You just want to see that clock tick down as much as possible. Their possessions here, I'm sure it's going to start to slow down a little bit offensively on their end as they're going to try to take down as much clock as they can.
67-50 now, 6:38 remaining here in the fourth. Violets working the ball across. Now a beautiful feed inside, and we're going to have a whistle and an offensive foul called as Jackie Callie went down to the ground, and an offensive foul called on Micaiah Platt. So it'll be the Dolphins with the basketball off the turnover.
And NYU does have some players in foul trouble themselves. Obviously, with a 17-point lead, it's nothing too concerning right now for Paul Gregory, the head coach, but it is obvious they have a number of players right now in foul trouble.
So Callie misses the three-pointer, and the Violets control the rebound as they get the ball up over to Barrett. Barrett now over to Hiroka. Hiroka steps inside Price, now kicks the ball back. Now able to get the ball inside is McGoey, who lays it up and in. Shea McGoey has played very well for NYU here this afternoon, Mike.
Yeah, McGoey has 16 points already. And last check, she was still perfect overall.
Yeah, I think she was perfect from the line and the field.
Yeah.
Really, what a great job she's done here this afternoon is NYU getting strong play from their backcourt, strong play up front. And they have a 16-point lead now with 5:35 remaining here in the fourth. Brown working the ball in the corner. Now the Violets try to feed it inside, but instead it's going to be knocked away by Price. Price, a beautiful feed inside the Passatoro. She misses the layup, but there to lay it up and in for the Dolphins is Flecker. And all of a sudden, Mike, it's just a 14-point lead, and we're going to have a whistle and a timeout taken by the Violets. It'll be a full timeout, so we're going to step aside and take a break here. 5 minutes, 13 seconds remaining in the fourth. 69-55, NYU in the lead. You watch women's basketball coverage right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook. And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tidy.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
We're back with 5 minutes, 13 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter. And, you know, Mike, the Dolphins, who have trailed by over 20 points really since the first quarter, have now all of a sudden worked their way back to 14.
Yeah, they've done a nice job here in this quarter. They've outscored NYU 9-4. They've done a better job here offensively and defensively. And they're really a couple possessions here, a couple of stops, and a couple of scores in their own right from getting really back into this game.
As now we're going to have an offensive foul called against Patterson, and now the Dolphins with the basketball. NYU picking up, I believe, their third team foul here in the fourth quarter. So big possession coming up here for the Dolphins.
Yeah, this is a huge possession. If the Dolphins can even get a 3 out of this possession, cut it to an 11-point game, that would really be huge in their own right and trying to make this comeback.
As Flecker able to take the ball to the basket and lay it up and in, and Flecker now with 14, and the lead is now down to 12. Sorry, Mike.
Even the fans getting into it a little bit, it's starting to chant defense.
Barrett with the basketball now. It's been a quiet home crowd here this afternoon as NYU has jumped off to a 9-0 lead and really never looked back. And now we're going to have a whistle and a big blocking foul called against Flecker and the Dolphins. That will give NYU a fresh shot clock now as they will inbound the ball underneath their basket. 4 minutes, 26 seconds remaining here in the fourth.
And you see this, I can't let that foul get to you here. You just stay focused. Got to make a play defensively. Get a block, force an errant shot.
Hiroko with the basketball now, and let's see how NYU does here. The first little bit of pressure that they faced, and a beautiful play that time Caitlin Reed just took the ball right to the basket and laid it up and in, Mike.
And look, the money players are stepping up right now for NYU.
And just like that, Mike, the Dolphins cut it to 14, 4 points for NYU in a couple of seconds, and they open the lead right back up to 18.
And the two big players for NYU throughout this game and really for most of the season, Hiroko and also in Reed, stepping up and nailing big shots at the most opportune time for the NYU Violets.
As now Cray will draw the basket inside as the scoreboard says 73-57. They have this game at 16. And it'll be the Dolphins to inbound the basketball, but now with under 4 minutes remaining. And, you know, Mike, they cut it down to 12, but that big 4-0 run really hurt as Price able to drive inside. Her layup is up no good, but she gets the rebound. And now Passatoro's 3 is up no good. Callie goes crashing to the floor.
Nice job by Price to keep that alive.
Yeah, and now it's Passatoro with the basketball. Dolphins need a basket on this possession.
Angelique Price dribbled that ball about 3 or 4 times to keep that possession alive, then dished it off to Passatoro.
Now the Dolphins with 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Cray in the corner, her long jumper is up no good, and that might do it. McGoey with the basketball. McCoy feeds it inside, and that's Patterson who lays it up and in, and that'll just about do it, Mike. Dolphins cut it down to 12. 6-0 NYU run opens it back up to 18, and now the Dolphins turn it over again.
And right now they're on a high tempo and a transition here for NYU. They're trying to get these points in quick order, and they do. Big points there for Patterson. She's hit the last 2 buckets here, Mike.
Yeah, so the Dolphins cut the lead down to 12 for just a minute, but a quick 8-0 NYU run settles the issue here this afternoon.
They really do, and, you know, they've done an outstanding job out of Violets all day. They've had the Dolphins in a situation where the margin of error was very, very small. Even when the Dolphins cut it down to 12, they couldn't afford many mistakes, if any mistakes. They made a couple inside, and it cost them, and the Violets taking full advantage. Big 8-0 run, and again, they're money players. When you take a look at Reed, when you take a look at Hiroko, and now even Patterson, who has been very good for them inside all season, making big plays and big buckets when it counted the most.
Yeah, so the CSI Dolphins record will even up at 2-2 here this afternoon. And, you know, Mike, for the Dolphins, 2-2 for their non-conference schedule. A good start for the season as they get ready to get the conference schedule underway on Tuesday night.
It's a very good start here for the Dolphins. I mean, the first 3 games that I think were outstanding for CSI to go in there into a double against a Division I team, Wagner, hang tough against them and lose by 2 points, to get solid wins against Western New England and St. Joe's. Good start for the Dolphins just today. We knew it was going to be tough against NYU. They did make a game of it here a little bit in this fourth quarter, but it was just too much NYU here today. And you know what? I'm looking forward to seeing how this team does against this Kuniak schedule. And, you know, the Kuniak so far this year, take a look at it, Mike. A lot of teams right now down so far to start the year.
So we'll see how that gets underway this Tuesday night. But first 2 minutes and 45 seconds remaining here for the
Passaturo hands it off to Price. Price with a three-pointer, and she nails it. And now will cut it to a 17-point deficit. It's now 77-60. Nice possession there by the Dolphins, going the other way, NYU. And that's a bucket for Reed. It's now 79-60.
Yeah, and you know, Mike, every time NYU has needed a basket here this afternoon, either McGoey or Reed has been there. McGoey with 16, Hiroka with 16 as well, 20 for Reed. And, you know, those have been three players who played very well for NYU this afternoon, along with Patterson on the inside. As Price tries to drive down the lane, she'll get tied up for a jump ball as Rosa Perone is checked back into the game for the Dolphins with just 2 minutes remaining in the game. 79-62 the score.
You know, at this point in the game, 2 minutes to go. Yes, you have two players in the court who are in foul trouble and would foul out here on the next foul, but the game is pretty much said and done with, so you must get your best players on the floor and try to finish this game strong.
As Craig tries to drive it and lay it up, it's no good. And going down and laying the ball right back up and in is going to be Reed. And, you know, once again, Mike, when the game got close at the end of the game, it was Caitlin Reed and McGoey that made the big baskets in the fourth quarter for the Violets.
They really did. They were all outstanding here today, and three players with big days. 22 points here for Reed, 16 points each for McGoey as well as Hiroka. All three players are outstanding here for the Violets. 81 points in total.
So Gray hits the three-pointer for the Dolphins, and now Flecker with the steal as she'll drive down and lay it up and in, and that will cut the lead down to 14, but just over a minute remaining here in the fourth quarter as we're going to have a whistle and a timeout called by NYU with 1:05 remaining, and the Dolphins trailing here by 14.
And we'll say this from the CSI standpoint, it's a much better second half here by number of players. Flecker with a very good second half. She had 9 points in this second half, 16 on the game.
Yeah.
CSI with 4 players in double figures today.
Yeah, and you know, Mike, the Dolphins did a nice job, you know, coming back and cutting the deficit down to 12. But, you know, when it came down to it, just too much NYU this afternoon, too much size inside, and their ability to hit the outside shots. And between those two things, it makes it very difficult for the CSI Dolphins.
Now, I'll say this. Every broadcast needs to have a little levity here and there. We have these great PCs that we use in front of us for our stats, and we've been having some technical difficulties today, but they're at 100% updates right now, Mike, so we've made it.
Well, we're